Hi, my name is Dumas Weirshok, and I'm going to be doing my YouTube assignment on the strain theory. The strain theory was developed by Robert K. Merton, and he said, quote unquote, crime can result from the pressure people feel when their peers in society emphasize cultural goals like wealth and provide little to no education on how to legitimately obtain it. The strain that's caused by the actions of this theory cause these people to use innovation that is more so seen as illegitimate and criminal behavior to try to climb the social ladder. And it's normally people from these lower income areas. And precursors of this theory, like the strain theory, are single parent homes, low income neighborhoods, and bullied youth. Normally, just peer involvement that is positive isn't really accessible to them. Like a good coach. I couldn't tell you how many times I've had a baseball coach be like my second dad. I mean, coaches are very hands-on with their players 9 times out of 10, and people from these impoverished neighborhoods or just an impoverished family themselves just can't afford to play these sports, and that's where a lot of kids get up and go from, so to speak, or get their motivation from. And imagine just having one of the things, like a single parent home or a low income neighborhood. A lot of people do have them, but the kids that fall victim to the strain theory have multiple, usually. And the likelihood they cause criminal offenses and display deviant behavior is very high. You can just tell. I mean, the strain theory is a very well-backed theory, and it just proves itself. It really does. I mean, sometimes there will be an instance where it will not happen, but it's a very high likelihood. And when the American dream is to strive for wealth and prosperity that we were told is free for the taking, and with little to hard work and dedication, you'll be able to attain the dream. This is not true, and even more not true for those surrounded by the crime and poverty. The education that one needs on how to properly obtain the American dream comes from books, but mostly from those in leadership roles and have past participation in the fields of legitimate means. These impoverished neighborhoods have the exact opposite of educators, and they have drug dealers as well as people dealing in stolen goods on every corner, and most are personally known. It makes being taken into the world of crime very accessible. I mean, imagine if your dad, your brother, or your cousins were out stealing cars all the time or selling drugs to make rent or to do these type of things because they can't get a job because they are either convicted felons or they are just down on their luck and nobody's going to hire them. I mean, there's a lot of different reasons. The people that are in these low-income neighborhoods are normally used to litter on the streets and bars on every storefront. The abandoned buildings that used to have busy shopping stores filled with people that look like they just died out. Those businesses were left due to crimes committed like shoplifting and robbery, because in these low-income neighborhoods, you don't have the money to go buy these things in the store, so they're not going to sell anything. And the only thing that's really going to happen is people are going to come in, look at the stuff that they really want that they just can't afford. So what are they going to do? They're going to most likely steal it, just like your brother does, or just like my cousin did. I mean, but it's hard because many people can become sort of bitter due to hardship and the dream of not being able to shop normally and without all the trash-filled streets. I mean, it is that to some people. It's just a dream. And poverty in low-income areas are always going to be a huge problem. And as many cultures and low-income communities are becoming more diverse due to the economic situations we're feeling, crimes will still be a problem. Gangs will not leave, and they become culturally diverse and more visible. You can just see it already in prisons and jails and things like this. The groundwork required to break the cycle means manufacturing to return in the job market, or farming to come back to the United States, as many people that lacked a good education or access to tutoring need jobs and that are hands-on, and those are mainly overseas. These past job markets were game changers in these low-income communities, and they had a sense of community and pride in their faith. The job training and mental health and education are crucial in making these good decisions and changing the pattern of crime. These gangs being normal is not an okay thing. Kids will see this stuff on TikTok and think it's normal or think it's cool to do, but it's not. It's just shown in this light for social media and to make them look cool, but in all reality, they're not having a very good life if they're on the run from police all the time, or if their only source of income is dirty money and they can't exactly spend it. So it's not a rich versus poor or a black versus white. All walks of life and every demographic have the few that display questionable behavior and are, well, delinquent. It's the gangs and the lack thereof that seems to be the real big game changer. Increasingly low-income communities are being integrated and gangs are more prevalent than ever because it's just so easy. There's so many people coming together, and with that many people that are in a low-income area trying to make it for themselves, they're just going to get together and figure out ways to do this, and sometimes these ways are not going to be legal. And the strain theory really does do a good job of showing this. You can really just look and see that the stats are there. I mean, it really does happen. And the surveys done in New York in the late 1990s about the radical and ethnic backgrounds were 49% Hispanic, 31% African American, 13% Caucasian, 7% Asian, and 2% other. Socioeconomic status of the same gangs was 50% poor, 35% working class, 12% middle, and 3% upper class. That's crazy. I mean, 3% of people that are in the upper class were in a gang. Or even 12% of people in middle class getting by, doing pretty decent, living above paycheck to paycheck, were in a gang. And things like this have to make you realize that it is being pushed and it is being popularized to be in these gangs to these low-income communities and these people because they think that's the only way of getting out of their sad lives or to be able to get what they dream about every day. To be quite frank with you, I mean, and most people 9 times out of 10 will do whatever it takes to get it. But that was my presentation on the strain theory. Thank you guys so much for listening, and have a good night.